Look into my eyes, because I'm telling you something no one else will. My name is Derek Washington, and I was there on that flight from Chicago to New York. When the world tilted just enough to make you question everything you thought you knew about people, about power, about what's real. I'm not here to narrate a story, I'm here to confess what I saw, what I felt, and what I can't unsee. You're not just watching this. You're standing next to me in that first-class cabin, your heart pounding as the air grows thick with something unspoken. Something that makes your skin prickle like you've stumbled across a secret buried in plain sight. A truth so raw it feels like you're reholding a classified file you were never meant to touch. It was flight 472, a routine evening departure. The kind of trip where you expect nothing more than recycled air and overpriced wine. But then she walked, in Lillian Harper, all polished confidence, her designer scarf catching the light as she claimed a seat that wasn't hers. She didn't just sit, she owned that space, her smile sharp enough to cut through the murmurs of the cabin. The man whose seat it was, Benjamin Caldwell, stood in the aisle, his tailored suit impeccable, his presence commanding yet calm, like a storm held back by sheer will. He was a black man, mid-40s, with eyes that seemed to carry the weight of 1,000 untold stories. The tension wasn't loud, it was suffocating. A quiet clash of entitlement and dignity that made every passenger hold their breath, pretending not to notice. Lillian's voice, crisp and unapologetic, insisted there must be a mistake, her words dripping with a kind of certainty that comes from never being questioned. Benjamin didn't argue. He just smiled, a slow, knowing curve of his lips, and said, "We'll see about that." The flight attendant, flustered, checked her tablet, then froze, her face draining of color as she whispered something to Benjamin. He nodded, and in that moment, the air shifted, like the universe itself was leaning in to listen. You could feel it, the weight of something bigger, something hidden. Like a puzzle piece you didn't know you were missing until it clicked into place. Then it happened, as Lillian gathered her things, her face a mask of indignation. She leaned close to Benjamin, so close her breath must have grazed his ear, and whispered something. Not a word reached us, not a single syllable, but the way Benjamin's eyes widened, just for a split second, made my chest tighten. It was as if she'd spoken a truth so forbidden it could unravel the fabric of the moment. Then, without warning, Lillian turned, her scarf trailing like a ghost, and walked toward the back of the plane. She didn't board economy. She didn't stop at the galley. She just vanished. The cabin door was sealed, the plane still grounded, but she was gone, like she'd never existed. The flight attendant didn't react. The other passengers didn't blink. But I saw it. And I know you feel it too, the eerie familiarity of a moment that doesn't add up, like a memory you're not sure is yours. Benjamin took his seat, the one he'd owned all along, and as the plane taxied, he pulled out his phone. The screen lit up, and for a fleeting second, I saw the airline's logo flash across it. His name beneath it. Benjamin Caldwell, CEO. My heart stopped. He didn't just own the seat, he owned the entire airline. But that wasn't the end. As the plane climbed into the night, a voice crackled through my earbuds. Unprompted, a voice I hadn't heard in years. A voice that belonged to my grandmother, long dead, whispering a name I'd never heard before. Lillian. The plane shuddered, the lights flickered, and I swear, in that moment, I felt her eyes on me, though she was nowhere to be found. What had she whispered to him? And why is my grandmother's voice calling her name through a device she never lived to see? The plane's hum vibrates through my bones. A low, relentless drone that feels like it's trying to shake loose something I buried deep, something I don't want to remember but can't stop hearing. My grandmother's voice, scratchy, warm, impossibly, hers lingers in my earbuds, whispering Lillian like a warning from a world I can't touch. I rip them out, my hands trembling, and stare at the empty seat across the aisle where Lillian Harper vanished minutes ago. The cabin is too quiet now. The kind of quiet that screams. The kind that makes you wonder if you're the only one noticing the world isn't right. I'm Derek Washington, and I'm telling you this because I don't know if I trust my own eyes anymore. Or if what I saw on Flight 472 was a real unsolved mystery or the first crack in my mind splitting open. You're still here with me. aren't you? You feel it too, the creeping dread, that what you just witnessed wasn't a glitch in the world, but a glitch in you. Benjamin Caldwell, the man who owns this airline, sits 2 rows ahead, his silhouette calm against the window, but his stillness feels like a lie, like he's waiting for something to happen again. My phone buzzes in my pocket, and when I pull it out, the screen flickers, showing a photo I don't remember taking. Lillian's scarf, crumpled on the floor of the cabin, right where she stood. I blink, and the image is gone, replaced by my lock screen, a picture of my daughter, smiling, oblivious. My chest tightens, not just from the photo, but from the sudden, gnawing doubt. Did I really see Lillian vanish? Or did my mind stitch together a story to cover something worse? Something I've forgotten, something they don't want me to remember. The flight attendant passes by, her smile too tight, her eyes avoiding mine, and I wonder if she saw it too, or if she's part of whatever this is. I lean back, my heart hammering, and that's when I notice her Claire Donovan sitting in the seat behind me, her reflection caught in the dark window. She's maybe 30, with sharp cheekbones and eyes that seem to flicker like a bad signal, watching me too closely. She wasn't there before, I'm sure of it, but now she's leaning forward, her breath warm against my ear as she whispers, "You didn't see what you think you did, Derek." Her voice is soft, intimate, but it cuts like a blade, and I freeze, my skin prickling with the kind of fear that comes from hearing your own thoughts spoken by a stranger. I turn to face her, but she's already looking away, scribbling something in a small notebook, her hands steady in a way that feels wrong, like she knows more than she's letting on. "What do you mean?" I ask, my voice barely above a whisper, but she doesn't answer, just keeps writing, her pen scratching like static in my head. I want to grab her, demand answers, but the plane lurches. A sudden dip that makes my stomach drop, and the overhead speakers crackle with a sound that isn't the captain's voice. It's a low, distorted hum, like a recording played backward. And for a split second, I swear, I hear my grandmother's voice again, saying my name this time. Derek. My breath catches, and I look around, but no one else reacts, their faces buried in magazines or screens, as if the world hasn't just tilted again. Claire's eyes meet mine in the reflection, and she smiles. A small, knowing curve that makes me feel like I'm the one who's missing something, like I'm the one who's not real. I think of my daughter, of the accident 2 years ago. The one that took her mother, the one I still wake up screaming from, and I wonder if this is my trauma clawing its way out, dressing itself up as a mystery to keep me from facing the truth behind what no one tells you. That grief can make you see things that aren't there, or maybe it makes you see things that are. I check my phone again, desperate for something solid. But there's a new audio file in my recordings, one I didn't make, labeled flight_472_whisper. My hands shake as I press play, and it's Lillian's voice, clear as day, saying, "He knows who you are, Derek. He's always known." The file cuts off, and when I try to replay it, it's gone, like it never existed. Claire leans forward again, her voice low. "You're looking for answers in the wrong places." Check the seat pocket. I hesitate, my heart pounding so loud I'm sure she can hear it, then reach into the pocket in front of me. My fingers brush something cold, metallic a key, old and tarnished, with a tag that reads Caldwell. I glance at Benjamin, still unmoving, and back at Claire. But she's gone, her seat empty, her notebook lying open on the tray table. The page is filled with my name, written over and over, in handwriting that looks like mine. The plane's lights flicker again, and the hum in my ears grows louder, drowning out everything but a single, unshakable thought. What if the real mystery isn't Lillian's disappearance, or Benjamin's power, or even my grandmother's voice? What if the truth they don't want me to remember is that I'm not supposed to be on this flight at all? The key in my hand feels heavier than it should, its tarnished edges biting into my palm as if it's trying to anchor me to a reality that keeps slipping away. I'm Derek Washington, still strapped into my seat on flight 472. The cabin lights dimmed now, casting long shadows that seem to pulse with a life of their own. The hum of the plane is a constant undercurrent, but it's not just mechanical anymore, it's personal, like a heartbeat that's not mine, thrumming in sync with the questions clawing at my mind. I'm close to the hidden truth. I can feel it, like a memory glitch. I'm finally piecing together, and I'm telling you this because you're the only one I trust to hear it. The mystery of Lillian Harper's disappearance. Benjamin Caldwell's quiet power, Claire Donovan's cryptic warnings, it's all starting to make sense or so. I think as I clutch the key marked Caldwell and stare at the empty seat where Claire was moments ago. Her notebook still open on the tray table is no longer filled with my name scrawled in frantic loops. Now it's a single sentence written in precise, unfamiliar handwriting. The truth is, in the overhead bin, my pulse races. Not just from fear, but from the certainty that I'm about to uncover the mystery that the piece is. Lillian's whisper, my grandmother's voice, the vanishing are about to snap into place. I unbuckle my seatbelt, ignoring the flight attendant's distant glance, and reach up to the bin above my seat. My fingers fumble, brushing against something soft, like fabric, and I pull out a scarf, Lillian's scarf, the one she wore when she vanished. It's silk cool and impossibly real. Tucked inside is a folded piece of paper, yellowed with age, and as I unfold it, my breath catches. It's a boarding pass, dated July 17th, 1995, for a flight from Chicago to New York, same route as this one, with my name on it, Derek Washington. Seat 3A! I was 10 years old in 1995, and I remember that flight, the one my parents never talked about afterward, the one where a woman in first class screamed my name before the plane shook and the lights went out. The memory floods back, vivid and jagged, like a wound reopening. Her voice shrill and desperate, calling me as if she knew me, as if she'd been waiting for me. I'd forgotten it until now, buried it under years of nightmares and half-remembered dread. But it mirrors this moment so perfectly, it feels like the past is bleeding into the present, like I'm reliving something I was never meant to survive. The boarding pass trembles in my hand, and I'm sure this is it, the mystery uncovered. The proof that Lillian's disappearance is tied to that flight. To me, to some truth I've been running from. I look at Benjamin Caldwell, still seated ahead, his silhouette unmoving. And I'm convinced he's the key. The one who orchestrated this, who knows why my name was on that pass, why Lillian vanished, why Claire appeared only to disappear again. I stand, ready to confront him, to demand answers, when the plane's intercom crackles, not with the captain's voice, but with static that resolves into a low, deliberate whisper. You're not crazy! They lied to you. It's my grandmother's voice again, but this time, it's not warm or familiar. It's cold, deliberate, like it's speaking from somewhere outside time. The cabin lights flicker, and for a moment, every passenger's face seems to blur, their features softening into something unrecognizable, like masks slipping. I blink, and they're normal again? But the unease lingers. A sickening certainty that something has been watching me from the beginning. Not just on this flight, but on that one. In 1995, something that's been waiting for me to notice it. I sit back down, my heart pounding, and that's when I see it a single detail that unravels everything. The key in my hand, the one marked Caldwell, isn't just tarnished. It's engraved with a date. July 17th, 1995. The same date as the boarding pass. But there's a tiny inscription beneath it. So small, I almost miss it. Flight 472. Seat 3A. My seat. Not Benjamin's, not Lillian's, but mine. From 30 years ago. And now, the plane lurches. A violent jolt that sends trays clattering, and the overhead bins pop open, spilling luggage into the aisle. Among the chaos, a single item lands at my feet. A child's drawing creased and faded of a plane in flames, with my handwriting scrawled across it. They're watching. I drew this when I was 10 on that flight, and I remember now the woman who screamed my name the way the cabin went dark, the way my parents whispered afterward, "Don't tell anyone." The drawing shouldn't be here, not on this plane, not now. But it is, and it changes everything. Whatever's watching me isn't just on this flit's been with me my whole life. And the real twist, the one that forces you to rethink everything, is that I wasn't just a passenger on that flight in 1995. I was the reason it happened. The child's drawing lies crumpled at my feet, its crude lines of a burning plane searing into my vision. And I can't shake the feeling that I'm not just holding a piece of paper, but a fragment of a truth I've been running from my entire life. I'm Derek Washington, still trapped on Flight 472, the cabin air thick with a dread that clings to my skin like damp fog. And I'm telling you this because I know now I'm not alone here. Not alone either. Are you? You've been watching, feeling the weight of this, the way the pieces don't fit. The way your own memories flicker like a bad signal when you try to pin them down. The key with Caldwell, and that impossible date, the boarding pass from 1995, the drawing. I made as a terrified De Niro. They're not just clues. They're signals, cryptic messages meant for me, for you, for others who've been silent until now. I glanced around the cabin, and for the first time, I noticed the others not. The passengers lost in their screens or sipping their drinks. But the ones who aren't moving, their eyes locked on me, unblinking, like they've been waiting for me to catch up. There's a woman in 7B. Her hair pulled back in a tight bun. Her fingers tracing the same symbol over and over on her armrest, a spiral, jagged and uneven, like the one I drew in that 1995 sketch. A man in 12C, his face half hidden by a baseball cap, holds a napkin with the same spiral scrawled in pen, his gaze flickering to mine before darting away. They know something, and the realization hits like a punch. They've been watching me not just on this flight, but maybe for years, connected by something I can't name, something that's been whispering to us in shared dreams, in moments we thought were ours alone. My phone buzzes again, and the screen lights up with a video file I didn't download, labeled Found Footage 1995. My hands shake as I press play, and it's grainy, shaky, like something recorded on a camcorder what the government never released. It's the cabin of a plane, identical to this one, passengers frozen in their seats. And there I am, 10 years old, clutching a crayon, drawing that same burning plane. A woman's voice, Leon's, says, "He's the key," before the footage cuts to static, and my grandmother's voice whispers through it. "You were right all along." Derek, my heart pounds, not just from the video, but from the sudden certainty that this isn't just my story, there's two these silent watchers, and maybe yours. I look up, and the woman in 7B is gone, her seat empty, but the spiral remains, etched into the armrest, glowing faintly under the cabin lights. Then I see him, Thomas Everett, a man in his 60s, seated in the exit row, his eyes clear and steady, the only one who doesn't look away when I meet his gaze. He's different, not like the others. There's a weight to him. Clarity that feels like truth. Like he's the only one not caught in this web of half memories and disappearing faces. He leans forward, sliding a folded note across the aisle, and when I open it, it's a single line. They control the signal, but not you. My breath catches because his words echo something I've felt my whole life, a pull of pressure, like someone's been steering my thoughts, editing my memories, making me question who I am. Thomas doesn't smile, doesn't explain, but his eyes hold mine, and I swear I see that spiral reflected in them. Not as a drawing, but as something alive, pulsing, like a signal I've been tuned to without knowing. The plane's hum shifts, deepening into a rhythm that feels like a pulse. And the overhead screens flicker on, showing not the flight map, but a looping image of that spiral, spinning slowly, endlessly, as if it's trying to pull me in. The other passengers don't notice, or maybe they can't. But the ones who were watching me, the woman, the man in the cap, they're gone now? Their seats empty, their belongings left behind with that same spiral scratched into them. I think of my daughter, of the accident that took her mother, and a new memory surfaces sharp and unbidden. A dream I had last night, or maybe years ago, of standing in a burning plane surrounded by faces I didn't know, all drawing that spiral, all whispering my name. Was it a dream? Or was it real? A signal sent to me, to them, to you. Thomas is still watching, his expression unreadable. And I want to ask him what he knows, what he's seen. But the plane lurches again, and the intercom crackles with a voice not my grandmother's, not Lillian's, but something else. Something that doesn't sound human, saying, "You can't leave the signal." The cabin lights dim, and my phone vibrates, showing a new message. Not from a number, but from a blank sender. Look behind you. I don't want to turn, but I do, and there's no one there, just an empty row except for a single item on the seat, a Polaroid. Old and faded of me, now holding the key with the spiral glowing behind my head like a halo. The photo wasn't taken today, it wasn't taken ever, but it exists, and it is telling me I am not just part of this, I am the center of it. And so are you, because you're seeing this, feeling this, and the spiral is in your mind now too, isn't it? The Polaroid trembles in my hand, its image of me holding the key, the spiral glowing behind. My head like a cruel halo burning into my soul, with a weight that feels like it could crush me or set me free if only I knew which. I'm Derek Washington, still on flight 472. The cabin now a suffocating cocoon of shadows and whispers. The spiral's pulse thrumming through the air. Through my veins, like a signal I've been carrying my whole life without knowing it. I'm not chasing the mystery of Lillian Harper's disappearance anymore, or Benjamin Caldwell's power, or even Thomas Everett's cryptic truth. It's not about what happened, but why, and what it means to be human when your reality feels like a lie you've been told since birth. You're still here with me. Aren't you feeling the same dread? The same pull? Like you're waking up from a dream you didn't know you were in. Your own memories flickering with that same spiral. That same question. Who are you, really, when the world keeps rewriting your story? The cabin is quiet now. Too quiet. The other passenger is gone. Their seats empty, as if they were never real. As if I'm the only one left, or maybe I was never here at all. Thomas Everett, the one who seemed to hold the truth, is still in the exit row. His eyes locked on mine. But they're softer now, almost pleading, like he's waiting for me to make a choice. I don't understand. The spiral on the overhead screens spins faster, its edges blurring into a hypnotic hum, and my phone lights up with another message. Not from a sender, but from that blank void. Confess, Derek, you've always known. My chest tightens not just from fear, but from a memory I've buried so deep it feels like a betrayal to unearth it. A moment from 1995 after that flight, when I stood in my parents' living room, the air heavy with their silence, and my mother looked at me, her eyes wet, and said, "You weren't supposed to see her." I was 10, and I didn't understand, but I do now. The woman who screamed my name on that plane. The one who vanished into the dark wasn't just a stranger, she was someone I loved, someone I lost, someone I erased, because the truth was too heavy. My daughter's mother, Anna, didn't die in a car accident 2 years ago. She was on that flight in 1995, and possibly her face older, but hers calling my name as a warning, as a plea before the world took her again. I confess it now, my voice breaking in the empty cabin. I saw her, and I let her go. The words rip out of me raw and jagged, and I feel Thomas's gaze like a hand on my shoulder, not comforting but demanding, forcing me to face the truth. I've been running from her, from myself, from the spiral that's been carved into my life since I was a child. The plane shudders and the spiral on the screens fractures, revealing not a symbol but a face. Anna's her eyes wide, her mouth forming my name, and I realize this. I isn't T about Lillian or Benjamin or even Mick. It's about why we forget, why we let the people we love slip into the cracks of our minds. Why we let a larger force unseen, but always watching, rewrite who we are. Do I believe I'm the key? The center of this signal? Or do I believe I'm just a man broken by grief, seeing ghosts in a world that's moved on? The choice feels irreversible. To hold on to the truth that Anna was here, that the spiral is real, that I'm part of something bigger might destroy me, might unravel everything I am. But to let it go, to call it a delusion, might save me, might let me live without this weight. I stand, the key cutting into my palm, and walk toward Thomas, my heart pounding with the certainty that this is the moment. The terrifying awakening where I decide who I am. He doesn't move, but his note, still clutched in my other hand, feels warm now, alive. And when I look at it again, the words have changed. You can't stop the signal, but you can choose what it means. The cabin lights pulse, and Anna's face on the screen flickers, replaced by my own. Not as I am now, but as I was at 10, drawing that burning plane, my eyes wide with a fear I didn't understand. The spiral hums louder, and I feel it inside me, not as a sound, but as a question. What does it mean to be human when your memories are yours? When your life is a story someone else is telling? I turn to Thomas, ready to ask to the man, but he's gone, his seat empty, and in its place is a single item. Mirror small and cracked, reflecting not my face, but Anna's, her lips moving, saying, "You're still here." The plane doesn't move, but I feel it falling, not through the sky, but through time, through everything. I thought I knew, and I'm awake now, truly awake in a way that terrifies me, because it means I've been asleep my whole life. The spiral fades, the cabin stills, and I'm left with the key, the mirror, and a truth I can't unsee. Some truths don't want to be found, but they find you anyway. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for stories you were never meant to hear. Until next time. Remember, some truths don't want to be found,